You will go one-on-one with The Undertaker!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hit the Books, the only weekly realistic fantasy booking podcast in the universe. I am your host, as always, Ryan Knighty. With me, as always, is my co-host, the man, the myth, the man that is no longer the Taco Bell Kid. We had a new nickname, and I think it was Mikey McFreddy.
It was either Mikey McFreddy. We did this last week.
I know we did this last week.
McFreddy, or it was the Spicy Nugget.
You can't remember. You can't expect me.
I'm gonna go with the Spicy Nugget because I just did a review on the Wendy's Spicy Nuggets versus the brand new McDonald's Spicy Nuggets. By the way, Wendy's still holds the crown. The McDonald's ones aren't as spicy as they could be, and I think the Wendy's ones are the perfect balance of spice.
Well, there we go.
Wendy's, the OG, has it down pat.
I'll keep that in mind.
You can't expect me to remember everything here, Mikey. But there we go. The Spicy Nugget Mikey Manfredi. That voice you just heard is our special guest for this week's episode. He is one of the co-hosts, along with you, Mikey, of the brand new show on this network, Independent Waters. The voice you just heard joining Mikey on that show is, of course, Zach Batista. Zach, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited, actually, even though I don't I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be listening to in a couple minutes, but I'm very excited to hear it.
That's fair. Neither is technically Mikey, since he has no idea what I'm doing and I have no idea what he's doing.
We're all getting surprises today.
Yes, it's like a Christmas tree where we see all the presents wrapped underneath the tree, but we have no idea what's in it, and we're all gonna give presents to each other, I guess. Does that make sense? Does that analogy work? I have no idea.
It works for me.
Well, if you're new, like Zach, to this program, then I want to say first for Hit the Books listeners, this show is us. Mikey writes his own version of SmackDown. I write my own version of Raw, and each week we present each other with what we got up and building all the way up to Clash of Champions, which we've already got a great card presented, Mikey. But that's enough about Hit the Books. I want to talk about the new show that we have on the network, Independent Waters, hosted by you two, Zach and Mikey. Zach, I want to throw it to you first. What is the show? What can people expect when they listen to it?
The best way I can describe it is it's two guys diving into indie wrestling and trying to find something new, like gems in the indie scene. It's such a popular thing these days now, but with AEW and like WWE and New Japan, like you see a lot of indie stars now have gotten to more of a mainstream level. The show itself more so decides to go to the more grounded operations, the smaller ones. You get to see wrestlers when they start up, or maybe you see like a mainstream star that's mainstream now, but before a match they had before. And it's kind of just me and Mikey exploring and seeing new stuff in the indie scene that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah, no, I really like it a lot. You guys try to find you guys review like 5 matches every week of things happening independent. You step away from WWE, step away from AEW, step away from New Japan, and focus on others aspects. And like you said, I think it's a great show. I really enjoyed listening to it. Mikey, I'm so happy you started doing the show. Because this is sort of like I don't want to say like the son of or the next generation of Mikey's Indy 500. How do you what was the decision in changing up the show?
So the decision in changing up the show was that it's hard talking by yourself. So I noticed the goal I set for myself was a little unrealistic. I feel like 500 matches in a year was a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was taking it as more of a race. And this change was for me to bring on somebody who also is kind of a newbie to independent wrestling to show, so we can both discover it together and go on this journey rather than trying to race through it, because I want to enjoy the matches I'm watching and not just try to get to a number. I want to make sure every match is special and every match I get to watch and enjoy and not have to worry about just getting to 500,
Exactly. Like Zach said, you guys are looking for those hidden treasures in the independent waters.
Exactly.
Well, we need to use that more often. Hidden treasures.
The hidden treasure.
Hidden treasures. Well, yeah, I like I love the show. And I want to ask you another question, Zach. You said on Independent Waters, what was your first instance in coming in contact with independent wrestling? But what was the thing that got you into just wrestling as a whole? Was it the same sort of instance with indie wrestling, or was it just you watched something cool in WWE one day?
I think I mentioned this to Mikey at some point. I don't know if we were talking about this on the recording or not, but I started out with my dad actually getting into it. My dad was big on like the online like wrestling forums. He had like a website called eWrestling. He had like a whole like fantasy booking thing, kind of like Hit the Books.
What?
What?
Kind of, yeah. He was like the head guy of it.
Screw Zach. Let's get Zach's dad on the pod.
Oh, he definitely wants to be on at some point. But yeah. So what my dad would do is he would watch wrestling in the living room, and he would just kind of sit me down in front of the TV. So he like had me sitting down in front of like ECW apparently, and I apparently loved it. So I would just kind of watch it with my dad for whenever it was on. And the first memory I can remember of watching wrestling is Undertaker giving JBL the last ride through his limousine at SummerSlam after JBL won the title back from him for like cheating or something like JBL. Like
this checks out.
And from there, kind of like just kind of took on. I watched it a lot. And then I had as I think Mikey and I talked about this too, like I had my break where like in between middle school and high school, I stopped watching wrestling for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know what it was, but I just kind of got back into it. I think it was something with the Shield that got me back into it. And I was like, oh, wow, wrestling has changed a lot. Holy wow. And
isn't it what? Sorry to interrupt, but isn't it wild how every wrestling fan has that hiatus?
I don't know what that says. Like I think about that all the time. Like I wonder, is it just like you just step away for a little bit and you need a break from it all? Because it is a weekly program. It's 52 weeks a year. 2 nights a year from WWE, now 3 nights. So I wonder, like, what about it? Is it just like that race of it all, or is it the lack of journey? I don't know. I think about that all the time.
It's wild. Like I feel like every wrestling fan I've ever talked to is always like, yeah, I stopped watching for a little bit, but then I got back into it. It's like it's weird how we all just had that,
If I were to say, maybe it's the investment, because you invest a lot of time into wrestling. Like it's not a short thing you can just like quickly bang out. You have to like invest yourself into the characters, into the matches themselves. And after a while, like after watching for so much, it can get a bit like tiring, I guess. And you just need a little break before you jump back into it.
I get that. That makes sense. My cat is currently on top of a shelf, so I'm gonna have to get him down real quick. Mikey, can you intro the show and intro the things real quick as I get my cat off the shelf? What kind of show is this?
All right. So what we are going to be doing today is me and Ryan are both going to present Zach our Raw and SmackDown cards. Ryan with Raw, of course. Me with SmackDown, as usual. Then Zach will basically be reacting and giving us his thoughts on whose card is better at the end of the show. And of course, you guys will be doing the same when you vote on Twitter and give us your opinion on whose card is better as well. And I believe we are starting with Monday Night Raw.
We are. So the results of last week's poll, Mikey, when we had Sean Laraway, our friend, guest on the episode, he booked his own version of NXT. Our audience voted on what was the best. And, of course, Sean said that, I believe, if I remember correctly, if I wrote this down correctly, Sean said that his vote was on SmackDown last week. Woo! So despite that guest recommendation, the winner of last week's poll was, in fact, NXT.
Yes.
With what was it, 55% of the vote?
Yeah, Sean blew us out.
Yeah, Sean blew us out. You followed up with with the Sean point Mikey, but then I had dead last there, so yikes for me. That does mean, since NXT won last week, that it was technically I guess we're going to serve it as a tie, so we'll both hit the randomizer on each other. Well,
it means we both lost, Ryan, and the losers get the randomizer, right?
Exactly. So there we go. So let's get into Monday Night Raw. Just like stepping away from WWE, Zach, you're going to be listening to this, hopping in mid-show, mid-build-up to Clash of Champions. I'm interested to see what you think.
I am very excited to see what you got booked.
Right.
What do we have? What do we have next? We have this week and next week, and then Clash of Champions, right?
Correct.
Jeez.
That is correct. Well, let's open up the Monday Night Raw with none other than Roman Reigns. And he's walking. Thank you, Mikey. Roman Reigns, he's walking out with the Usos. He's walking out with the LLC, Zach, the LLC being Bobby Lashley and Cesaro.
Excuse you, it's Lashley, Lana, and Cesaro, just so you can get the LLC.
That is
Come
true.
on.
This is true. And he is, of course, well, not of course, since he's not the champion, but he's walking out with Keith Lee's WWE Championship.
Oh, right. I forgot that happened.
You forgot that that Roman Reigns, the LLC, the Usos abducted Keith Lee.
I forgot they
week.
abducted Keith Lee.
Hey,
Wow.
The randomizer needed me to make a controversial moment, so I was like, I'm going to abduct the WWE champion. And there we go. So Roman opens up saying that he told us, I told you that I will get back my WWE championship, and I have done it. I've taken down the competition, and now no one stands in my way. Not Brock Lesnar, not AJ Styles, not Aleister Black, not Bray Wyatt. Nobody is coming for me. He raises the title that is not his in the air, and the segment ends. Doesn't even mention Keith Lee, but calls out everyone else.
Keith Lee does not exist anymore.
He's in his rear view mirror.
He is literally in his rear view mirror. Heel Roman Reigns with 4 other people in his payroll. Oh, I guess family is not really payroll, but 4 other people in his corner really has a dominant hold over Monday Night Raw.
All right.
Wow. What a stable, man. You're like the Usos. I was like, okay, I'm like, makes sense. And then you just hit me with the Lashley and Cesaro, and I was like, what? I'm like, I'm down for this, though. I can see it working.
Yes. I believe the conceit is, in this universe, that the LLC, they're kind of like an APA type tag team. So Roman is paying them to be in his corner.
Yeah.
Which I was going to... I had a thing for that, but then Keith Lee got abducted last week, so that's out the window. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna save that one, Mikey, in case I pull that back up.
Can't wait.
But then we'll move straight into match number 1, and that is the semifinal match in the Intercontinental number 1 contendership tournament between King Corbin and the returning MVP.
All right.
MVP, being a face in this universe, wins this match by defeating King Corbin.
I still have my money on King Corbin winning this.
You did. You had your money on King Corbin. And Mike,
I'm gonna keep guessing King Corbin until it's right.
Can I give you can I tell you something, Mikey?
Sure.
King Corbin was originally going to win this match.
Interesting.
But it was when Chad Gable was injured for, 20-something weeks? When he was injured for 20 weeks, that's when I was like, well, I needed someone new. So Yikes. King Corbin lost for additional reasons, to be told.
Yikes.
But yes, MVP wins. Thoughts on that, anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I like MVP moving on. I think it's good. I'm sorry, Chad Gable getting injured ruined all your plans.
Yes, it did. I need someone to now face Sheamus for the IC title, and now
Sheamus is the champ.
Sheamus is the champ. I was going to do Sheamus, Chad Gable. Then Chad Gable broke his leg, and now I'm screwed.
Should we give Batista a quick rundown of our champions just so we can?
Sure.
All right.
WWE champion. I think that's probably a good idea. WWE champion Keith Lee won the title in triple threat by pinning AJ Styles and I guess defeating WWE champion Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Then it was Shayna Baszler, the Raw Women's Champion, cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase to make the Liv Morgan-Alexa Bliss match into a triple threat, and then won it there. Sheamus, the IC champion, won it from John Morrison for a little bit ago. Reclaiming the official, not reclaiming, but becoming official, what is it called when you're all the champions at some point?
Triple Crown?
Yes, that thing. And then, of course...
the Grand Slam?
The Grand Slam, there it is.
Yes, Grand Slam.
God, I've not been to Denny's in quite a while. And then, of course, the Raw Tag Team Champions are the Disciples, which it's a faction that includes, of course, Seth Rollins, Murphy. But, I had a call-up to that faction, and that call-up was Dave Mastiff.
Oh, wow.
So it's Mastiff and Murphy with Seth Rollins. Those are the Raw champions. And I guess we'll talk about the SmackDown champions when we get to SmackDown, Mikey. I believe, Zach, are you looking up who Dave Mastiff is?
I'm seeing to make sure he's who I think he is.
Call it.
Wow, that's a callback. Wow.
You're not an avid follower of NXT UK? Come on.
I'll be honest. I actually was for a while, and then the COVID pandemic hit, and I completely fell off.
That's fair. That's fair, since they're also not doing any new shows.
Oh yeah.
I think they're bringing back NXT UK. Now I think
I hope they do.
Well, let's move on the show. Of course, we have next up a video package that's just reviewing what happened last week with Roman Reigns and Keith Lee. Again, what happened last week was that Keith Lee, the WWE Champion, is walking out in the parking lot. That mysterious, I think, the white van that was used to attack Aleister Black many months ago. LLC and the Usos jumped out of the van, abducted Keith Lee, leaving behind the WWE Championship for Roman to pick up and now walk around with. So just that little review, catch you up on what's to happen there. Moving right along is a backstage interview with Aleister Black. Aleister Black is asked about what his thoughts about Keith Lee. Black says that there's a demon roaming the halls of Monday Night Raw. This demon wants to trick all of us into his reality and believe we are in this hellscape. But what he doesn't know is that I've dealt with demons my entire life. I know how they think, how they manipulate, how they falsify the sanctity of this building. I will not let Roman Reigns get away with what he has done to both me and Keith Lee. Roman Reigns is not the victim of the story. Suddenly, the man he beat last week, AJ Styles, attacks Aleister Black from behind, saying things like, "We're not finished, I'm not done with you, Al," things of that nature. So AJ Styles wants more of Aleister Black.
Ryan, the demon is actually on SmackDown, so...
I'm sorry, I have Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. Oh no, he's a Fiend! No!
The demon's actually on SmackDown, so...
Dang it. Thoughts on that backstage interview with Aleister Black?
I'll be real with you. I was really into that Aleister Black promo.
Yeah,
I
baby.
was like, I could totally see like Aleister Black talk, like just to give that whole entire. I was like, I was in. AJ Styles attacking him and calling him Al. I was like, that is the best thing ever. I love that. I love AJ just calling him Al.
I like AJ's new gimmick of just Southern annoyed dad.
Well, yeah, he's like, I'm not done with you, Al. Oh man, I love Southern annoyed dad AJ Styles. It's the greatest. Let's move right along into the next match, which is a tag team women's match between the newly formed Nia Jax and Tamina taking on Carmella and Natalya, where of course Nia Jax and Tamina get the win here.
All right, big win for them.
And they move on.
Newly formed tag team.
They move on. There's a segment right after the match where Alexa Bliss comes out and pleads with Nia Jax once more. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, formerly being the Genetic Goddesses, a tag team in this division, where Nia Jax turned her back on Alexa Bliss. She's trying to remind Nia of all the good times they've shared from SmackDown over to Raw to winning championships. Nia Jax cuts Bliss off and says that we only became a team because you wanted backup to win titles. You used me, Alexa. You have no idea what the word friend even means. You stand there in your ivory tower thinking you're better than everyone else. And I'm upset with myself for how long it took me to realize that I'm part of that group. You are a selfish, horrible person, Alexa. Alexa tries to plead one more last time, but then Tamina attacks Bliss from behind, and Jax joins Tamina. The two demolish Alexa Bliss.
Wow. Damn, really? I kind of feel bad for Alexa Bliss. Is that weird?
No, it's exactly what I'm trying to have you feel.
Because damn, dude.
I gotta turn her face somehow. So why not make you feel bad for her?
You did just take Nikki Cross from me, Ryan.
I did.
Incoming Bliss Cross ?
I have no comment.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I was like, "Who's the heel here?" I was like, "Okay, it's Alexa." And then Tamina kicked the shit out. I was like, "Oh." It's like, "Oh, they're the heels now, I guess." It's like, damn, Alexa, that kind of sucks. Interesting. So, just for clarification, was she basically like just using Nia to win to hold on to the title as long as she could?
100%. I looked back in the archive and she teamed up with Nia and they were friends, but Alexa Bliss was doing that so that she can challenge for the SmackDown title at the time. They kept being friends. They never won the women's tag team championships. And then at WrestleMania, the previous WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss, with Nia Jax's help, defeated Becky Lynch, the Man, finally dethroning the Man. where, and then, she was just using Nia Jax as bait. And then I was also doing it, and I don't think you realize this, Mikey, is that whenever it was a tag match or something, Nia Jax was always getting the fall. And
yeah, I did notice. I did catch that.
I always had Nia Jax being like the loser of the group, but get added more flame to the fire.
Smart right there.
Smart booking. That's what I am. I'm the smart booker, Nostradamus of booking over here.
And Nostradamus of booking.
Yes. Everything I book comes to reality, which is a weird trend that has actually happened on the show, Zach.
It's scary how accurate it's been sometimes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it's been
even I think our biggest SummerSlam match was Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, which is the match we've been building basically since the beginning of the show.
Correctly.
Wow. What?
Which ended up happening in real life, so that was
scary.
weird.
That's kind of cool too.
Let's keep the ball rolling into the next semifinal match in the number one contender for the IC title match. It's Andrade taking on Daniel Bryan. Again, Daniel Bryan, the coach of one Chad Gable, instructing Chad Gable to fly out on his own. He's not going to be in his corner. Wanted to make him sure that, at some point you're going to have to do this by yourself, so do it for this IC title. The next match, Chad Gable got injured for 20 weeks.
A little baby bird.
So Daniel Bryan last week said that, I'll insert myself in Chad Gable's place to honor my pupil.
My little baby bird.
I should also say Seth Rollins, who's sort of feuding with Daniel Bryan a little bit of because of what happened what happened at SummerSlam. Rollins is on commentary. During the match, of course, because it is Seth Rollins, he's a heel. He distracts Daniel Bryan during one of those yes kicks. Andrade uses this chance to hit the hammerlock DDT. Andrade gets the victory.
Oof.
Andrade victory.
Yes.
Daniel Bryan trying to stick up for his pupil and just getting destroyed by Andrade.
Yes, and that does mean that the final matchup, which will be next week, is MVP versus Andrade, the winner of which will face Sheamus at Clash of Champions.
A match I didn't see coming, to be honest.
Me neither. Zach, thoughts on that whole interaction?
Just the idea of Andrade and Daniel Bryan have a match, I'm just getting excited at the idea because that match can't be bad. There's no way that match could be bad.
No.
I like Seth. I like heel Seth. I've always been a fan of heel Seth a bit more than face Seth. And I like the distraction for the yes kicks. But wow, Andrade versus MVP. That's
a weird match. It's a weird match.
It is a weird match. I could see it going well. I know it depends on who wins the match next, but
that's true. You got to stick around next week for that result. Yeah, I'll be honest. Not a match I thought I was gonna do. I forget. I think the final was originally supposed to be King Corbin versus Chad Gable. Yes, because it was supposed to be Andrade versus Chad Gable here, where Chad Gable then would have defeated Morrison and Andrade, people that he's been feuding with before this tournament started. So that's what the plan was, but obviously plans change, Meltzer style, as I shuffle all of my papers. But yeah, so those are the cards I was dealt, and I felt that it might have been. I think it was still a better idea, even though I had Daniel Bryan replace Gable. I wanted to still have Bryan lose because I want Bryan to continue on in the Rollins sort of thing. So I did what I could, and I hope it makes sense for our listeners.
That makes sense. So, just a clarification, Daniel Bryan got the win cost from him because Seth was distracted when Andrade hit the hammerlock, right?
Correct.
Yes, then I'm for that.
Perfect. Well, let's move right along to Shayna Baszler, the Raw Women's Champion, taking on new to the roster, Nikki Cross.
All right. Nikki Cross coming fresh off SmackDown.
Yes. Fresh off of SmackDown when I swapped her. It was Nikki Cross for who? I don't remember.
R-Truth.
Aha, Nikki Cross for R-Truth.
I got good old Detective Truth.
Hey,
baby.
R-Truth is great on this roster when I built him up as Detective Hard Truth. And he's just the perfect comedy character that Mikey is not utilizing.
Not yet, I'm not. Because I don't have a mystery that needs to be solved.
I guess that's
what
fair.
What does Detective need to come in for? There's no mystery on SmackDown.
Well, I guess that's fair. Maybe change occupations. I don't know. During this match...
Janitor Truth.
Jeez. During this match, Shayna Baszler attacks Cross's arm during the match with Pentagon-esque attacks. Remember, you watched Lucha Underground. Remember how Pentagon attacks people's and breaks their arms, quote unquote?
We just had a conversation about that on Independent Waters. Go check it out every Wednesday.
Hey, look at that plug.
She does that along with steel step attacks to Nikki Cross, which again results in Shayna Baszler getting the win here. After the match, Baszler grabs the mic and yells at Bianca Belair, who she has been feuding with, telling her, last week Bianca Belair won her match and mimed a title belt around the waist. She's been asking for a title match. Baszler responds, "You're on."
Ooh, let's go.
Suddenly, Belair and her tag team partner Naomi run in to attack Baszler. Baszler gets the upper hand and starts choking out Naomi. Belair rolls out to see her friend getting choked out.
Yeah, doesn't even try to stop it, huh?
How?
No, she does not. That of course means that at Clash of Champions, it will be Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship.
Very interesting that Bianca Belair sees her friend and tag team partner getting choked out, and she just goes, "You know what? I'm gonna hang back on this one."
It wasn't on purpose. She didn't actively do that, but I guess that is fair. She didn't help her friend.
I have to ask before I get my reaction. How do you feel, Mikey, about getting Cross gets sent to Raw and then immediately gets destroyed by Baszler?
It's kind of a big yikes, but I also wasn't doing anything with Cross, so it's glad at least there's something.
This is like the kind of discussion that would happen on Twitter as this match is happening.
Yeah.
Until the next segment, which is, of course, Alexa Bliss in the training room, sort of getting worked on from her injuries suffered earlier in the night. Nikki Cross is then helped into the trainer's room and sits down at the table, and the doctor starts looking at Cross's arm. Bliss sees Cross sees Cross in pain and offers her a cup of coffee. Cross thanks her.
Oh, that's so...
Bliss Cross, baby!
Ooh, that's a really good callback to the coffee mug, too. Wow. And her getting her coffee on... Wow!
I was building it all show, motherfuckers.
Bliss Cross, baby! Let's go, I was right.
You were like, oh, it's going to be Bliss Cross? I was like, I don't know.
Now I am the Nostradamus of booking. My brain has gotten too big for this show.
Oh my god. Yeah, thoughts on Bliss Cross, the starting of Bliss Cross, I guess.
I am very excited. I like Bliss Cross in real life, so I'm very excited to see where you go with them for sure.
I liked the build up to it a lot. I liked how both of them got destroyed, and I liked that it was Nikki that gave her it too. I think if I got that right. Was it Nikki that gave? It was Bliss.
Bliss gave her the cup of coffee.
Bliss gave. I still love it. I thought it was a great callback to when they did it on Raw, and I'm excited to see where it will go. Mm-hmm. Oh, I actually forgot. I didn't say it in the mic because I didn't want to overgo Mikey, but I love Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair. That has to be good. That can't be bad.
That match in real life was good.
It was actually.
I'm very excited to see where Ryan takes it.
Yes. Thank you for the praise, everybody. But yes, I was building all show for Nikki Cross and Bliss to reconnect. Well, not reconnect, but connect here. I'm interested to see where it goes.
This is the first time they've actually connected in this universe.
Exactly. This is the first time they've ever connected on this universe, on this plane of existence. Yeah, I'm excited. I when I got Nikki Cross, I'll be honest, Mikey. Originally, I was hoping to get Mickie James and have this be Mickie James instead. But when I got Nikki Cross, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do Bliss Cross. I'm not sure. And then you took Mickie James to SmackDown. And I was like, no, it's definitely gonna be Nikki Cross now. Let's do it.
We're going Bliss Cross.
Let's do Bliss Cross. And yeah, and maybe this will be the way how Alexa Bliss learned how to be a friend, what the meaning of friendship is. Who knows? Well, let's move. Go. What are you gonna say, Mikey?
I just love this is baby where Alexa Bliss will learn how to make a friend.
Hey, Nia Jax says she doesn't know what the word even means.
It just became like a kid's book all of a sudden, and Alexa Bliss's journey to make a friend.
I write great stories here, great children's stories for all ages.
Monday Night Raw subtitle: Bliss makes a friend.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's move into the main event, and the main event is the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, taking on the Disciples. Of course, Murphy and Mastiff with Rollins in the corner for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Of course, Ivar pinning Mastiff last week in a big 6-man tag. So we got a title shot here tonight. During the match, while the Viking Raiders are in the lead, have control of the match, Rollins gets involved and hits Ivar with a chair, resulting in a disqualification. So Viking Raiders get the win, but Murphy and Mastiff retain the titles from disqualification rules. That is the finish to this main event.
All right.
Thoughts on the main event finish here, folks?
I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely builds the story more.
See, for me, as the guy who just came in, I don't love no finishes a ton. They have their purposes, but as a guy who just rolled in, to hear that the main event's finish was a no finish is a bit deflating. But if I based on how you were saying it, there's a story there that's building up to, I assume, Clash of Champions.
Yes.
Like I pinned you. You had to take the chair shot to get out of us winning. We want our title shot now, something like that, I assume.
Yeah, I'm going to announce the match right here, in fact, because at Clash of Champions, it's going to be the Viking Raiders versus the Disciples for the championships once again in a no disqualification match.
Ooh.
That'll be just a car crash of joy that I would be glad to watch.
That's exciting.
Seth Rollins is going to be in the Disciples' corner with both Daniel Bryan and Edge being in the Viking Raiders friendship circle. I wonder who, if anyone's, going to be in their corner.
Now I'm just picturing them all making each other little friendship bracelets.
Oh my god. If only you could have seen my reaction, folks, when he said Edge was in their corner. I was like, what? Wait.
Edge has to grow his beard out, though, to get on the game with everyone else.
He has, well, no, did he shave it recently? I think he shaved it.
Edge, he has to, no, he had that scruff, like, when he came back on his return in real life, but he needs to, like, really get a big beard.
Yeah.
Like, compared to the Viking Raiders and Daniel Bryan.
Well, Daniel Bryan's mostly clean shaven as well, so.
I like to believe Daniel Bryan still has his big bushy beard in this universe.
No, in my universe, he's clean shaven, head to toe.
No,
not a piece of hair on that body.
Then why have I been calling them the Beard Boys all this time, Ryan?
know.
You just let me do that?
I want to do it. I don't know. Get off my back.
I was calling the Viking Raiders and Daniel Bryan the Beard Boys, and you just let me do that. Now you're revealing to me that Daniel Bryan has been clean shaven this whole time.
Swerve, man.
What a swerve.
I've been betrayed.
Yes, so that is my Monday Night Raw, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Zach, I hope you enjoyed it as you jumped into this.
I did enjoy it quite a bit. There were some spots, there were some parts of where I was like, I'm not the most, like, for instance, I'm going to say King Corbin versus MVP. I was like, the matchup itself didn't get me too excited, but there were definitely some high points in the show that I really liked. Like, for instance, like I said, the Aleister Black promo I liked a lot. I loved the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss leading into the Nikki Cross Alexa Bliss stuff. I thought that was good. Daniel Bryan versus Andrade, the matchup on paper I love, can't get enough of, and I like the setup for Rollins because you know that Daniel Bryan will probably get some payback at Clash of Champions if Rollins tries to get his nose involved in some place it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like there were some parts in the show where I was like, all right, this is fine, like nothing get my seat, and then parts where I was like, love it, yes, give me more.
I know the scale doesn't apply completely here, but if you had to rate it on a mark out, meh, or miss out.
Miss out, meh, or mark out? You're stealing our own scale?
The scale from Independent Waters.
We're bringing the Independent Waters scale here to hit the books?
And maybe the scale's too small to really convey, but putting you on the spot here.
Oh my god. I would have to give it, I wouldn't give it mark out because it was like, it didn't like blow me away entirely, but like, I feel like meh is too hard for you.
It's a high meh.
Well, how about this? A high meh. I'll take a high meh.
Yeah, we'll give it that. We'll give it the mixture between a meh and a mark out. High meh.
It's a meh out.
Meh out.
Perfect. I'll take it. I'll take some. I'm still building up everything. Like that's my problem. I still got a lot of building to go. I think I did better than last week's show.
I agree. I think this was definitely strong. No offense or anything, but I do think this show is definitely stronger than last.
But
week.
it doesn't matter, Mikey, because since we tied in last week's poll, since we both lost, you gotta hit that randomizer on me. And Zach,
All right.
so I can explain to you and the audience at home, we have a list of 40.
Here we
We have a
go.
list of like 40 items that we randomly select because we want to make the show, not just everything go perfectly. We want to have injuries. We want to have Vince McMahon ripping up the script. We want to have all these sort of realistic things that could happen to make our show, liven it up a little bit. So we have this list of 40 items that will really mess with us or help us, and we'll see what happens to me here. Mikey, what did you get?
All right, I have rolled the randomizer. Ryan, it's a spicy one.
Oh, a spicy nugget one or just a spicy one?
Yeah, it's spicy. It's a spicy nugget for sure. I rolled steal a superstar.
Damn it!
Steal one superstar from the other's roster. So Ryan, I'm getting my fingers in your Raw roster. Let's see who we get.
Oh, you just steal a superstar? You don't. It's not a trade or anything.
no
ruin his
trading.
angle.
I get to just steal someone from you.
Okay.
Oh, God.
You could break
You
up a
could
tag
ruin-
team. You could take one of my.
You could ruin one of your angles for Clash of Champions that you're
Very.
building up to right now.
You could. You want? Hey, look at that Bo Dallas. So, look at that Bo Dallas up for grabs, Mikey. I don't want to go over my entire. Should I go over my entire roster? Is that helpful in any capacity, Mikey? Or
No, I mean I could see it.
yeah,
And we'll talk about it when I make my decision.
yeah. I mean, I don't get to say this is a steal. So I'm terrified, Zach.
I can imagine.
I'm basically using almost everybody in some capacity. I think besides Titus O'Neil and Bo Dallas, and maybe Lucha House Party.
Oh man, just gonna throw a wrench in your machine right now.
Yes, yes.
Can I give you an idea of who I'm looking at right now?
Please, you can I guess you can discuss this with Zach properly, since
I'm
I have
looking-
no choice in the matter.
Right now, I'm looking at three people. Three people. I'm looking at Two Fly Crew,
You son of a bitch.
and I'm looking at Elias.
And you said 3 people. Oh, is Two Flight Crew part of that 3 people?
Two Fly Crew is two people.
Fair enough.
what is Two Fly Crew?
Ricochet
No,
and
that
Cedric
is-
Alexander.
Oh, and then Elias.
And then Elias.
Yes.
If I may ask, without getting into your show, why Elias?
I like Elias a lot. Elias had, I think, was part of one of the biggest heel turns on my show on Hit the Books history. I
This
think.
is correct. Mikey wrote a whole eulogy, basically, from Aiden English's point of view. That's how he broke up
Yeah.
Rusev Day with Elias being involved.
I broke up
Wow.
Rusev Day. It was Elias and Rusev, and it was at a pay-per-view. I don't remember which one, but Elias sang a song for Rusev after he won his match.
In English, in English, sing a song.
In English, sang a song to Rusev after he won his match, and then basically turned on Rusev and tag teamed with Elias. So we had the sing, we had the band of English and Elias.
Yes, I believe they won the SmackDown Tag Team titles at one point too.
I think so too.
That, and I'm not agreeing that. That's such a good heel turn too. Wow.
Because he basically sang his eulogy, and then he sang, like, the last word of it was like, this is going to be a very sad Rusev Day, and then Elias broke the guitar over Rusev's back.
Oh, the heat would have been nuclear.
I know.
Well, Mikey, who are you thinking about taking? There's Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Elias, Bo Dallas. All of these are great picks.
Ryan, I think my decision
Okay.
is going to be Cedric Alexander
Oh, there goes the tag
of the
team.
Two Fly Crew.
Okay. That's okay. I took Cedric Alexander at the draft from you, if you don't remember.
I do, and now I want.
You son of a bitch. So originally at the draft,
I will have my revenge.
at the draft, I took Cedric Alexander and I gave you Jeff Hardy as a replacement. But now you are taking Cedric Alexander back. I'm not.
Indeed.
I'm not getting anybody. Are you writing this down in your list of people?
Currently, yes.
God, you have so many people on your side.
God, I can't even imagine.
This.
Roll a steal a superstar next time, idiot.
Well, I guess that's fair. If I roll it again, I'm taking him back.
That's
Oh
fair.
my
And I'll see what
We're
happens.
just gonna keep passing Cedric Alexander back and forth.
I'll be honest, Mikey. I wasn't using them yet, but I had plans. They were going to be involved in a number one. They were going to be involved in a new tag team I was creating,
Interesting.
which was the tag team of Andrade and John Morrison. And
Ooh.
you've ruined this for me.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna have the Lucha Underground vibes. I was gonna have the the whole Lucha style in there, high flying action.
I like Cedric Alexander because I'm possibly thinking of Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali together again,
That's a great.
and maybe going after One Nation.
That's not bad. Going after them a little bit, and then you get maybe Mysterio in there as well as a triple.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that, and then whoever can go for the titles with Undisputed Era. I'm interested to see where that goes. Well, then I'm upset that he took Cedric from me, but that opens up Ricochet to be maybe an IC title contender down the line. Maybe
There you go.
maybe that's something.
Make lemonade from lemons.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll make lemons out of lemonade. I'll reverse engineer something.
Make lemonade out of the lemons I just stole from
Yes,
you.
I guess that's fair. Well, that's Raw. So let's head on over to the Blue Brand on Friday night, SmackDown Live. Mikey, you're the head booker there. What's happening on SmackDown?
All right, over on Friday night, it's time for the Blue Brand, baby. Opening the show, we have Pete Dunne coming to the ring with his United States Championship. He grabs a microphone and he says, "During my title reign, I've had some wars for the gold around my waist. I plan on holding this title for a long, long time, and I realized I haven't been living up to some people's expectations of a champion. I've only defended this title 3 times against 2 opponents since I've won it. I want to show the WWE Universe that I deserve this title. So, I am issuing a challenge to anyone in WWE. If you want a shot, come get a shot."
Oh man, I'm very. I feel like I know who this might be, Mikey, based off of last week.
I think you have a good idea of who it might be, Ryan. So
It's
after
it's
a little bit
open to anyone in WWE.
open to anyone,
Oh, interesting.
any brand. After a little bit of pause, a certain person's music hits.
Oh my god.
Tommaso Ciampa's music hits, and he comes to the ramp to answer Pete Dunne's challenge. Ciampa grabs a mic and he says, "Dunne, your reign as champion ends tonight. Now that I have come to the Blue Brand, no one will survive." And Ciampa leaves.
Wow.
Zach, thoughts?
Wow. You just hit me with fucking Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne out the fucking gate.
Is that the main
Wow.
event?
That's our main event tonight. Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne for the United States Championship.
Wow, it's so different from Ryan because Ryan hooked
hold
me
on.
with the intrigue of he's got the whole faction. I wonder where this is going to go, and you just are just hitting me with a match that I'm just like, I will stick around for that match. The rest-
So, what happened was that last week we had.
Well, no, don't reveal. Don't reveal until the end of the show. I want to keep the
Okay.
suspense for Zach.
I will say, from a viewer's perspective, I would be like, the rest of your show could be crap, but I will stay around for the main event.
Well, you
We
never
have-
know. It could have a DQ finish.
Oh my god!
We have. All right, after that show opener, we have match number 1. We have Piper Niven coming to the ring with Candice LeRae by her side, taking on Peyton Royce with Billie Kay, with Piper Niven getting the victory over Peyton Royce. After that, we have a backstage interview with Dominic and Rey Mysterio about Dominic's loss last week, and Rey speaks up. I mean, how does anyone feel after a loss, right? Not great. But I know my son won't let that stop him, and it's just a learning experience. No one can win every match they're in, and losing is just part of the journey. Dominic speaks up and says, "I plan on trying and trying again until I'm able to carry the Mysterio name with pride. I am not giving up." Rey and Dominic leave, leading into match number 2, Dominic Mysterio versus Drake Maverick, in which Dominic Mysterio picks up his first victory on SmackDown.
Wow. Big win for Dominic Mysterio, defeating Drake Maverick. Maybe not a huge win for Dominic, but it's a win's a win.
A win's a win's a win.
DM versus DM.
DM versus DM. That's very good.
Thoughts on Dominic Mysterio, and thoughts on Piper Niven on SmackDown as well. Oh, Mike, you also didn't discuss who your champions were at the top of your card.
Right. My champions over on SmackDown. We have the Universal Champion in Drew McIntyre. We have the SmackDown Women's Champion in Bayley. The United States Champion is Pete Dunne. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions are Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And the Women's Tag Team Champions are on Raw.
Oh, they're on Raw, and I didn't mention that. The Women's Tag Team Champions are Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Oh wow, like that.
Well, thoughts on that info dump of all those three things. Thoughts on that, Zach?
All right. First thing about Dominic Mysterio's match, I will say I like the building blocks to it of his dad being supportive dad and him getting a win over Drake. I look forward to seeing if he can rise up to the challenge.
Yes, last week he lost in his debut match. He lost to Shelton Benjamin.
I like Piper Niven quite a bit, so I'm glad to see that you were using her on SmackDown.
Indeed,
So
she got called
that
up
was
very
good.
recently.
Oh, okay. So like the first match, I'm like, all right, it's good. It's an opening match. It's like it's good. I'd be fine with that match. I like it. And champion wise, wow, your roster both reflects the current roster's champion somehow, but at the same time is varying in many ways. UE as champions, I mean, who doesn't love the UE? Like,
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish won those titles at SummerSlam against One Nation, who I will get to later.
Okay.
So yeah,
I enjoyed it. I like this little feud between Iconics and Piper Niven and LeRae. I'm interested where this goes to see if it has also any Clash of Champions implications. There's some tag teams there. We already have the Women's Tag Team Championship match set up for Morgan Ripley versus Catanzaro and Knox. So I'm interested to see if there's going to be any other SmackDown teams joining that match, Mikey. But I'm ready for it. I'm prepped for it. What else is happening?
All right, after that Dominic Mysterio and Drake Maverick match, we have another segment. We have Pete Dunne and Tommaso Ciampa in GM Page's office to sign the contract for their match tonight. Paige speaks up. She says, okay, we've had our lawyers write up a quick contract for your title match tonight. No gimmicks, no stipulations, just a one-on-one match. Do you two both accept these conditions? Dunne and Ciampa don't break eye contact and keep staring each other down. Paige continues, I take that as a yes. So we just need you both to sign. Dunne and Ciampa sign the contract without a word between them and make the match official.
There we go.
fair is better than most contract signings.
There's like a theme in our show where we have like actual contract signings and not like we don't typically do that, do we, Mikey? Now I think
it's not just like a table spot.
It's not always a table spot. There is a rare occasion we do that, but we'd like to have actual contract signings.
Yeah,
of lawyers present and the whole kit and caboodle.
The whole nine.
Gives it a more of a like an official feeling to it.
Yes. Yeah. It make it all more realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the sports in sports entertainment. Can we do that? Can we put more sports in sports entertainment? That's just a diatribe.
Okay, we should. We can.
Anyways.
After that contract signing, we have match number 3, which is Apollo Crews with Tozawa by his side taking on Drew Gulak. We know this was a little bit of a feud, like it used to be with One Nation and Drew Gulak. One Nation, of course, being Apollo Crews and Akira Tozawa together. But this is a singles match, not a tag team match. And during the match, Fish and O'Reilly come to ringside and take out Akira Tozawa. While Crews is distracted, Gulak is able to hit the Cyclone Crash and win the match. Era rush the ring and beat down Crews as well and leave One Nation beaten down in the ring. So, Undisputed Era taking the fight to One Nation.
Yes. Yes, the teams that they've defeated for the titles, the feud does not appear to be over.
Nope.
Oh, they beat them for the title.
Yes, One Nation.
Undisputed Era beat One Nation, who were the tag team champions at SummerSlam to become, and Undisputed Era became the new SmackDown tag team champions.
And One Nation being a heel group of Apollo Crews and Akira Tozawa.
Oh, they're heels.
Yes,
they are.
big time.
Wow, did not see that one coming at all. In fact, but
It's they are my favorite tag team. Honestly, I was very upset when you drafted them because I really wanted them. They're basically they started out as anti-authoritarian, and since winning the titles, they've just been like
they've become more Dark Ordery.
they've become a little Dark Ordery over time.
Wow,
You love to see it. You love to see it, folks.
I love the idea of are Undisputed Era's heels or faces?
It's a great question, Mikey.
Heels. It's heels versus heels, man.
Oh, you're doing heels versus heels.
Man,
oh wow.
Mikey doesn't.
Some people just don't like each other. I think that's a thing in wrestling that we miss out on too much. Is that like it doesn't always have to be heels versus faces. You know, like it could just be like why if two heels don't like each other, let them feud.
If they make a good match, they make a good match.
Exactly. If it's a good match, it's a good match. Who cares if they're heel or face?
Well, then I still love the idea of Undisputed Era being like, yeah, we won these titles. Yeah, we're gonna beat you both up before, cost you the match, and then beat you up again after the match, and then walk away. Just like the idea of that.
Last week, One Nation actually cut a promo on Undisputed Era in a video package, so I think this was a direct response. I would believe. I would imagine.
Ooh, I like that.
So, yeah, after that match between Apollo Crews and Drew Gulak, we have a video package from Ember Moon and Sasha Banks. They're together backstage, and the two have decided on their stipulations for Clash of Champions. Moon begins. Asuka, you destroyed me. You made me what I am today. Anything that happens to you at Clash of Champions is your own fault. I plan on destroying you so much that you won't be able to walk out. My stipulation is a last woman standing match. And I assure you, that woman will be me. Then, Sasha speaks up and says, Bayley, you aren't out of the woods either. One of my biggest regrets is not being able to win back my NXT Women's Championship after you took it from me at TakeOver Brooklyn. So my stipulation is the same one we had then, a 30-minute Iron Man match. This time, the boss will walk out with the gold.
Wow. Dang, dude. Oh my God.
So last week, there was a tag team match between Bayley and Asuka taking on Sasha Banks and Ember Moon, who kind of got together through crazy stipulations, but they're together nonetheless. And Sasha Banks and Ember Moon won that match, which let them pick the stipulations for their two separate Clash of Champions matches. So it's going to be at Clash of Champions. We're going to have Bayley versus Sasha in a 30-minute Iron Woman match, and we have Ember Moon taking on Asuka in a last woman standing match.
I love it.
That was some great matches, man.
I love that you're doing the repeat of Banks and Bayley Iron Woman match.
Making the exact same thing. They're switched now. The roles are switched.
Yes.
And I also love Asuka Moon Last Woman Standing. I think there's potential for a great... I mean, we've seen Asuka have great Last Woman Standing matches in the past, namely in NXT back in the days against Nikki Cross. Ember Moon, who is still luckily healthy in this parallel dimension. Ember Moon, Asuka have just been a feud of the past bit. Former tag team partners turn rivals. Mm-hmm. Last Woman Standing match. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, Asuka and Ember Moon used to be a tag team named the Empresses of the Night. And they were pretty dominant.
Former champions.
Former champions, yeah. And then Asuka went on to win the SmackDown Women's Championship and kind of... It looked like she kind of kicked Ember Moon to the side and ended up feuding for a little while. And Ember Moon lost her title shot against Asuka, and we hadn't seen her for months. And then she came back and attacked Asuka.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was a big thing. It
was a big
feud runs deep.
Feud runs deep. What's the rest of your show, Mikey?
After that, we have match number 4: Mickie James taking on Charlotte Flair, with Charlotte Flair getting the victory.
Okay. Charlotte wasn't there.
It's been a while since we've seen Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, was this the not reunion? What's the word? The reintroduction of Charlotte Flair a little bit?
Yeah, I tried to do it a couple weeks ago, but that match ended up getting replaced thanks to the randomizer.
Oh, yeah, it was. The randomizer made it. You replaced Flair versus Rose with Mickie James versus Dana Brooke. We got Mickie James as well, so you sort of combined those two.
Yeah, a little bit. I wanted Charlotte Flair to be back in the scene. I think she could possibly start making her way towards a women's championship match, but we'll see.
That's true. We'll see down the line. Ooh, Mickey James, Charlotte Flair, any one of them against Banks or Bailey?
Sounds good to me.
Just Mickey James
Yeah.
against Banks versus Bailey? That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah. All right. Next up, we have a backstage interview with Piper Niven about her win earlier tonight. She says, "It's awesome to be on such a hot streak like this since debuting on SmackDown. Not only that, but I found myself an awesome partner in Candice LeRae. We've been talking, and we hear that there's a match for the women's tag team titles at Clash of Champions, and we want in." LeRae says, "We know we can make a huge impact." She gets cut off by the Iconics. Billy butts in and says, "You two, a random tag team together, having a shot at the women's tag titles." Ryan and Zach, do you guys want to give the Ryan and or Zach? Do you guys want to give the classic line of Billy Kay?
Are you joking me?
Perfect.
A
Well-
plus, bark out moment.
So yeah, we got Billy Kay saying, "You two, shot at the women's tag titles. You've got to be joking me." Peyton butts in and says, "Billy is right. If anyone deserves a shot at the title, it's us. I mean, Candice, didn't you just lose to Billy like a couple of weeks ago?" Candice speaks up and says, "Well, didn't you just lose to Piper Niven?" And the two start arguing. And then Paige interrupts the interview and splits the teams up before things get a little too intense. And she says, "I think I can solve this. Iconics, you two will be taking on Niven and LeRae next week in the tag team match, and the winner will get added into the women's tag title match at Clash of Champions. Deal?" Both teams glare at each other and then agree. So next week, we have Piper Niven and Candice LeRae taking on the Iconics, and whoever wins gets added into that match at Clash of Champions. I'm very excited for this one.
Wow, I like that a lot. I like that they're being built in. So what's the current tag team, women's tag team match at Clash of Champions?
Currently, it's the champions, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley of Raw versus Sean Laraway. Our friend made this last week, which is Casey Catanzaro and Tegan Knox.
Oh, wow.
So we'll possibly get that third team, whichever team that may be, included, making it a triple threat.
Indubitably.
I like it.
Don't ever say indubitably.
Indubitably.
Ever again. How dare you, sir?
All right.
I want to hear this main event. Let's get to this gosh dang main event, buddy.
After that backstage interview, of course, it's time for our main event: Pete Dunne versus Tommaso Ciampa for the United States Championship in a one-on-one singles fight set for one fall.
Really, really, really drawing this out here, Mike.
Look at the exact same thing.
And the winner is Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, wow.
Taking the title off of Pete Dunne and becoming the new United States champion.
Wow. I gotta say it. I guess he didn't survive.
This was a great introduction of Tommaso Ciampa into it. You didn't have to give him the title, but I think this is a great introduction of Tommaso Ciampa.
Well, I kind of didn't also. I mean, I kind of also did.
That's true. For the listeners at home who listened to last week's episode, do you want to explain to Zach what happened? Why this match is taking place?
Last week, I got the randomizer rolled on me by Sean Laraway, our special guest, who got to trade a superstar without me agreeing to it. So you can basically trade anyone of equal value, whoever he wanted.
So basically, like the Steel Superstar, but
except I got somebody in return.
At least you get someone.
And his pick was he decided to draft to NXT my current United States champion, Pete Dunne. And he gave me Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, okay.
He
stole your champ, but gave you Ciampa.
He stole my champ, but gave me Ciampa.
Not bad. It's a not bad.
And now Ciampa is the champ.
He puts the champ in Ciampa. So thoughts on Tommaso Ciampa winning the title, thoughts on Pete Dunne going back to NXT, but then also thoughts on just Tommaso Ciampa on SmackDown in general.
Oh man, the title change. I was sitting here and I was like, I'm like, damn, this is a shame. I feel like I got the Mikey's build-up show before like the show next week where everything's going to happen, and then you hit me with this title change, and I did pop off. They can't see it, but I did pop up. I was like, oh my god.
Reminder that after this there is only 1 week, and then it's Clash of Champions.
Oh
so
my god! Wow. Go home show.
we changed titles on the Go Home to the Go Home.
Is Tommaso champ on SmackDown? It's like, yeah, I'd be down for it.
There's some...
Ciampa, United States the new United States champion.
Looking at that roster, Mikey, I'm very excited about Tommaso Ciampa with some of the interactions he can have. I think Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor could be interesting. I'm very excited about a potential matchup of Drew McIntyre and Tommaso Ciampa. There's something about that intrigues me a lot.
Oh my god!
Of course, Tommaso Ciampa, Mojo Rawley cannot wait for it. Of course, everyone loves Mojo Rawley. Jokes aside,
because Tommaso Ciampa's gonna stay hype, baby.
Yes, Tommaso Ciampa, Randy Orton, Tommaso Ciampa, Kevin Owens.
Wow.
What? Ciampa versus Oni Lorcan, Ciampa versus Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander now.
Bro, your roster's stacked. What?
Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, Mr. Money in the Bank, you mean?
This is true.
Oh my god.
He's got a stacked roster. And he's stolen more people.
Yeah. So me and Ryan had a funny Money in the Bank where he had plans for his men's division winning it, and I had plans for my women's division winning it. But then the rolls of the dice determined that he won the women's and I won the men's, which both took us off guard because we each had plans for the other one.
I believe we said on the show what those plans were, right?
Yes, mine was for Ruby Riott to be Miss Money in the Bank after having Undisputed Era attack whoever was climbing the ladder. Oh, by the way, Ruby Riott's in Undisputed Era.
Oh,
in my universe, yeah.
My plan for the men's was have R-Truth win it and go after all of the titles, women's, intercontinental, tag team by himself.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
And then eventually, because he realizes that the current WWE champion is Brock Lesnar, and so he's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to cash in.
I don't want to cash in. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it.
So overall thoughts on SmackDown as I prep the randomizer for Mikey.
So when the show started, I was a bit like, all right, I'm like, that's a fine opening. It's not too bad. But I was very pleased that it built to something. I won't be here to judge when it happens, but I thought that was good. Let me think. I really liked One Nation getting attacked because I love the idea of Undisputed Era not taking just taking nothing from them. It's like you can take your video package and shove it. Let's see. Main event was amazing. Like that alone, like I would just watch just for that, and it was just sounds amazing. Also, knowing your roster is now, that is a stacked roster.
Yeah, SmackDown's got quite the roster, and I love it. I love having all these awesome people, especially Kevin Owens. He's my favorite.
It did make me a little sad though, because I was like, oh wow, for Ryan's show there was so much going on, but then he revealed that was his entire roster, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of sad I couldn't see more on SmackDown because you've got so many. Let's see. Start of the Charlotte Flair climb is not an unfamiliar one for me, but I'm down. I'm here for it. Oh, and one of the things that I really liked was I loved the Clash Champion matches you have. The poetry or the callback for Sasha and Bayley is great. I love Ember Moon versus Asuka just because I like the idea of local Japanese woman too angry to die refuses to stay down. Love that. Oh man, there are parts of the show where I was like, there are parts of the show that I was like, but then there are parts I was like, oh, that's really good. I wouldn't know. And also the funny part is that your finish actually ended with a finish.
How dare you?
With a title change of all things.
Damn, getting called right out, Ryan.
How dare you, sir? Do you want to? Do you want a preview of our Clash of Champions pay-per-view real quick?
Yes, that'd be great. Actually,
before the randomizer reveal, so far it's Sheamus defending his IC title against either MVP or Andrade. Asuka versus Ember Moon in the last woman standing match. Of course, this is on no particular order. Currently, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley versus Casey Catanzaro and Tegan Nox and another SmackDown team, as we'll determine next week.
Either Niven and LeRae or the Iconics.
The Viking Raiders versus the Disciples for the Raw Tag Team Champions in a no disqualification match. Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Champion. Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship in a 30-minute Iron Woman match. And then for the Universal Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Adam Cole.
Oh, that's your. Oh my God! Wow.
Drew McIntyre versus Adam Cole, baby. Because Adam Cole last week won a fatal 4-way #1 contenders match against Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, and Randy Orton.
It's funny how similar that was to 2 weeks ago on NXT.
Nostradamus over here.
And Nostradamus is booking.
Wow. Yeah, like I just realized now you had so much stuff happening on this card. You didn't even have the main title show up on the show.
No.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. Holy crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
technically,
Universal
technically, my main champion didn't show up on the show. I mean, I don't know. If that's
I mean, your main champion also got abducted. the title was on the show.
Title's on the show, so
The belt was on the show.
defending Raw over here.
Oh, wow.
Well, before we get finalize and officiate Mikey's SmackDown, the randomizer did poll. And, it's not really a good or bad thing. I guess it's not really a good or bad thing for Mikey. If anything, it might be worse for me because it is a spin steal.
Aha!
The other booker steals your spin, so that means nothing happens.
Wow.
Vengeance is coming my way!
Mikey gets to roll the randomizer on me yet again.
I feel bad for you, Ryan, but I'm excited to see what this thing takes.
It's going to have me abduct more people.
I don't feel bad because Ryan got like 3 spins on me in 1 week by accident somehow.
That is true.
Remember that?
Oh my God, that's unfortunate.
Because I do.
Well, I'm afraid what's going to happen here, but Mikey, what do you got for the randomizer for me?
All right.
Twice in a row.
Roll.
It's like steal a superstar and you take Ricochet.
Flat Crew's mine.
All right.
I'll take the whole thing. Why not? 2 for 1.
All right. Ryan, this one's not too bad.
Okay.
We got a match interference. A wrestler interferes in a match.
Okay.
Had that this week.
Yeah, we technically have already had that with Seth Rollins getting in.
Done.
So there
Handled it.
Handled. Done. I don't have to do
Handled.
anything.
You
I saved myself. That could have been way worse.
the Nostradamus of booking. You saw the future and booked the randomizer hit.
I'm a genius.
God.
Okay.
Once this finishes, I gotta ask you guys what's on
Your
that wheel.
brain is too big. There's so many things on this wheel.
Let's see.
One of them is Vince didn't like the show, so rebooked the whole thing in 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
We have different levels of injuries, like minor injuries, major injuries, insanely bad injuries.
Like Chad Gable breaking his leg.
Hopefully you have insurance.
Oh my God.
A career ender. Basically, we roll a D whatever to see what wrestler gets hurt, then a D whatever plus a modifier, see how many weeks they're out. The career ender is a D20 plus 20.
There's a rookie call up, which is you choose an NXT roster member on from a certain list, and they get called up. There's a call up from NXT or stuff like that. Match interferences, make a match a title match. There's a lot of things on here.
Wow.
Happy ending. The network call. They want a happy ending.
Yeah.
Gimmick changes, face turns, heel turns. We have a 2K outcome, which is we run WWE 2K19 or 20, whatever it is, whatever we currently have. We run that, and whatever that simulation gives us, that's the match outcome.
Yeah, we have to put one of our matches just in 2K and make 2 computers fight, and then whatever that decides is the outcome of the match now.
Wow, that sounds...
And we do commentary on it, which is very fun.
We got steals, we got double bookings, we got trades. You've been observed. Oh, one that we haven't done yet technically is you've been observed, where you have to reveal.
We got it once.
No, that we didn't, because that was a parallel universe where that result didn't happen in the polls. Remember?
Correct.
It was you've been observed. Reveal one result of an upcoming planned pay-per-view match.
Oh wow! Just ruin the entire thing. Wow.
Yes, in an alternate universe, the fans, because there was an instance where we recorded an episode before the results of a poll came out, so we did 2 different endings for the show, and I got observed, and I had to reveal the result of my Edge versus Seth Rollins match. But the listeners had to hear that live instead of what could have been.
Ooh, wow.
So yeah, we have a whole list of a butt ton of things here. 43 things.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yet we seem to get the same ones over and over again. And 90% of the time, it's somebody gets hurt.
To be fair, there are a lot of repeats. There are a lot of these get repeated just to make sure things happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yes.
Okay.
So, Zach, it's all down to you. That is Raw. That is SmackDown.
You've heard our cards.
You've heard our cards.
God.
Not to put you on the spot, but that's exactly what we're going to do. Which card did you like more, and why?
Oh man!
Don't forget who your new co-host is.
I know. This...
Wow.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh god, this is so difficult because there are things I liked about both your shows and things I was like I didn't hate, but I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Wait, well, just real quickly, what is one thing? What is the thing you like the most about Raw? What is the thing you liked the most about SmackDown? And then maybe make the result. Maybe to give some niceties before you give the result. Maybe that makes sense.
Okay, I really liked this is kind of a general thing. I'll give Raw since we just talked about SmackDown. I really liked in Raw how it felt like everything was like going on at the same time. There were no isolated instances. I liked how everyone was being used. There was smart booking with all the matches. I liked how it all built into stuff. I'm very much interested in how like the main title scene will go since Keith Lee is God knows where. I can't get over how much I really like that Aleister Black promo. Like I just can't. I could just visualize it in my head. And then going to SmackDown. Well, it wasn't as much like Raw, where everyone was like kind of like where it felt like things were happening all together. I really loved the booking for SummerSlam, Clash of Champions. Like I can't even explain to you my excitement. I really liked that you had Ciampa come in and just win.
Yeah, I mean, I was somebody was gonna win it, and I think
Ciampa
Ciampa was the best choice.
The thing is, though, is that like you have matches down there that were like they built into stories like Piper, like the Piper Niven, and I believe it was it Billy? No, it wasn't Billy Kay. It was Peyton.
Yes.
That match at first didn't do much for me, and then it led into something which I liked. Let me think. Charlotte versus Mickey. I was like, it's just a building, just to start somewhere. Same with Dominic. I like Dominic getting his first win, but those are like just building blocks and isn't gonna like get me out of my seats. It's more of like all right, I'm here to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, and I give it to Raw actually.
Yeah. All right.
I
That's
really
fair.
can't get over like whereas you had like better moments in my opinion, Raw just felt like a moving like there were so many moving parts going on throughout the show, and I just really liked it.
Yeah,
turns out I'm more like real WWE. Very good at booking moments, not very good at booking long term.
The other thing that hurts is that I had no context for any of it.
That's true.
That's fair.
Which is what I thought. Which is what I felt that SmackDown might have the advantage over me, because Mikey tends to like book like those like huge main events, like big popping moments, sort of thing. So I thought that might have been a disadvantage that you didn't know the backstories.
I didn't know any of them, so. Yours was more compacted, and I got on top of the fact your roster's smaller. Yours is more compacted, so I got all of them. Also, just a side note, you actually went through the effort of having stuff play that kept me caught up, which was nice. So I was like, oh, so this is what's happening. Okay. Whereas there are moments in Mikey's show where I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it's cool.
There we go. Well, Raw officially wins, but if you also thought Raw was as good as Zach does, because Zach can confirm now that he officially loves DQ finishes.
Oh my God.
Then you can go and vote for either Raw or SmackDown, whichever show you thought was better, by heading on over to Twitter at HitTheBooksPod. Again, on Twitter, there's going to be a pinned tweet at the top of our profile there where you can vote on which card you thought was better. Was it Raw? Was it SmackDown? You can decide right then and there which one you thought was better. Zach, of course, gets the guest bonus where his vote, gets 2 votes in there. So if you really love SmackDown, make sure that SmackDown gets that love here, or Raw is just gonna run over his butt.
Since Zach voted for Raw, Independent Waters is now canceled.
Whoa!
There it goes, folks.
Dang.
Never say I'm unbiased. Never say I'm biased.
Well, there we go. Again, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode. Again, thank you, Zach, for coming on this episode of Hit the Books. Again, I want you to plug. Let's talk to me. Sell me on Independent Waters.
I have to say thank you for having me on. It was very fun to watch. It was listened to, really. But Independent Waters, join us when me and Mikey go on a journey through the independent wrestling scene to find the hidden gems in various promotions, different superstars or wrestlers, whichever you like to call them. And just, it's a fun time where him and I just kind of gush over matches and recommend to each other and get each other into different types of wrestling matches maybe, or different wrestlers themselves. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
And I am happy that he brought me on for it.
It's right on this very feed every Wednesday, so check it out when you can.
Not only that, you guys also have your own RSS feed, so you
That
can
is
either
true. So look up Independent Waters
on iTunes. You can either subscribe to this podcast feed or their own separate podcast feed, whatever you prefer. Not only that, review that separate RSS feed as well of Independent Waters.
5 stars or more.
The reviews are very more. Yeah, five stars or more. The reviews are very important that first week, first month of podcasting. So make sure you review the show when you get there. But also, if you like the show as well, you can review that as well. But again, Zach, thank you so much for coming on this episode. Like I said, you can follow us at Hit the Books Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to this show. Also subscribe to Independent Waters on wherever podcasts can be found. Leave reviews on all of those things. We would greatly appreciate it. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hit the Books Podcast, where we'll see a bunch of other content, video versions of the show, video versions of other shows. Listen to Wrestling Statistics. Listen to Independent Waters. If you have new ideas for shows or want to get at us, DM us on Twitter at HitTheBooksPod, and we'll talk it out, hash it out. We want to help you get more shows on, get your podcast idea out there. Mikey, am I forgetting anything?
I think you nailed it.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Vote in the polls.
Tell them about our website where they can find everything that has to do with this podcast ever, htbpod.com.
I did not, but if you want to go to HTB Pod and look up anything that happened on this podcast, then you can go do that. We have the archive there that like Zach, if you're just dropping in, you can go to the archive right now and read up on every single episode of this podcast, every single result, everything that's there. Again, know the history of our championships since we broke off from SummerSlam 2018. Figure out the rankings of our superstars, the top 10 rankings from Raw and SmackDown. All of that can be found over at htbpod.com. Again, thank you so much, Zach, for coming onto the show. We'd love to have you back. We'd love to have you back at any point. Maybe you can book your own version of NXT down the line.
We'll see.
And then Mikey, again, love you so much, bud. We'll see you again all next week. For Mikey, for Zach, I've been Ryan. See everybody next time. Until then, we've got 2 words for you. Book it.